being a man, but I'd really like to hold your hand. Squeeze into the flesh, make something new. All I've ever wanted was to be a part of you. Take away all of my darkness before I get the chance to swallow your light. Will you let me show you just what I see when what's inside?
J'ai faim de toi, tu sais que j'ai besoin. J'ai faim, oui j'ai faim de toi, pas d'autre pour moi.
Hello and welcome to Totally Tell Me, a weekly entertainment review podcast where we talk about movies, music, food, and fun. My name's Dominic Mercurio, and I'm here with, as always, Laura Weinbach.
Yo.
What's up, Laura? How's it going?
Nothing. How are you? Pretty good. How are you?
Pretty good. And our special
Okay.
guest today is Nick Stargu.
Oh, hello,
Argue.
yes.
I'm sorry.
I mean, that's more or less what I said. I mean,
You're,
Stargu, not Stargoo, right?
did you say Star?
Yeah.
Did you say Stargoo?
Did I?
think
Well, I
you
meant
said Stargu.
Stargua. I meant Starqua.
Wow.
Stargoo.
Well, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for saying my name right and
Yeah, absolutely.
inviting me onto the show, live streaming in front of all of these people. Now they know how to say my name. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, yeah, no problem. I'll individually call them. I'll call them all up afterwards, and I'll let them know. I'll send them a private message, etc., etc. If you don't know, Totally Tell Me is now live streaming. We stream on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook, so you can find us on any of those platforms. We go live every 2 weeks, every 2 Sundays at 7 p.m. So if you're not watching live, you can tune in live for the next episode. Our next episode will be on October 11th at 7 p.m., and we're going to have Brent Weinbach on to review Bill and Ted Face the Music, the new Bill and Ted movie. And as always, too, if you are watching live, feel free to comment and be part of the show. We're going to read them as we're kind of going through. If you've seen the movie or not, regardless, we'll incorporate you into the show. So without further ado, though, Nick, if people don't know you, Nick also goes by DJ Real. He's a comedian, San Francisco-based comedian. He runs a show called Talkies that's now doing a live stream version of their show, obviously, as everybody has become accustomed to in this strange year. Where can people find that, by the way?
Every first and third Friday, we live stream from Zoom, so you can join on the Zoom show. But we live stream to Twitch, Facebook, and that's it.
Okay.
It's a multimedia extravaganza.
Yeah.
And we've had Laura on. Dominic has been there in the audience.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
And that's it. I laugh, I clap.
That's it.
Oh, ow!
That's it.
Oh, okay. That was
Don't
Nick
you
going
dare.
through.
That is not it.
Oh.
Say more.
Everyone's
Laura.
going through puberty except for me today. So you'll just have to deal with
I already went through puberty like 10 years ago.
Get over yourself.
I'm still a mere 12-year-old. Someday my voice will, what is it? Not crack, but oh.
Hey, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
It Comes at Night, a great film. It Comes at Night, a great film.
Oh my god.
Sorry about that.
Wow.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, you know
I just
what?
wanted.
It's
What?
true though. It's true.
It comes at night. A great film.
It Comes at Night, a great film.
Laura looks
I don't agree.
upset.
Oh,
She doesn't agree. I don't
don't
agree
agree?
either. To be fair, I don't agree either.
Really?
Yeah, but you
Talk
don't think
about
it's a
it.
bad film, do you?
I wouldn't say bad,
There we go.
but not good.
Okay.
Did you say bordering
Wrong.
on horrible? Or
I wouldn't say bordering on horrible, but listen, it was an unnecessary movie to make. Is what I feel like.
poor
Did you,
guy.
actually, did
Who
you
made that
see?
again?
Give me 12 cc's of PM! Quick, Scheiße!
Wait, say that again.
Give me 12 cc's of PM! Quick, Scheiße!
Well, I need these. This is great.
That was
gotta-
me.
You got to get little drops of your homies.
Love
you know?
it.
God,
I got
wow.
one. This one's
Sweet you
me.
do.
That one was me screaming.
Wow.
We've gone off track.
Is this
We've
what you
gone
do?
really-
Like, is this what you do when you miss your friends? You just like pull up little clips of them and then
Oh,
you play
yeah.
them and you're like, oh, I was kind of wondering what Dominic's opinions are about It Comes at Night, and then you're just like, boop, I
It
got
Comes at
that.
Night, a great film. It comes.
you got a sound clip to remind you at any moment.
I have it on loop. I should turn that off.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, here we are. We've started another one of these crazy little things. I was curious about what kind of movies you guys have been watching lately. Anyone care to go first? Perhaps we start with the old Nick. Nick,
You know-
who I not dare say his last name anymore at this point.
Well, you can
I mean,
say it.
you
Just
can
say it, right?
say it. You just get to
No.
say it right.
No, I
In
can't.
fact, we want you to say it.
Nick
Say his
Stargu.
name.
Star Joie.
Starshua.
You know, I took a chance like a
Mm-hmm.
maniac, and I found a movie theater that is actually playing movies, and went to see Tenet.
This is shocking.
this
is
is
a
went
shocking.
To a
twist.
theater? You
I
watch
went
a
into
movie
a
in the
theater
What the heck are
with
you doing?
with a mask. With a mask.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Made sure that like it was basically empty, which it was,
Okay.
and saw this movie with a mask on my face.
How can you
and-
make sure that it was empty before you bought the ticket?
Because you can see it was like a Fandango thing. You could see like where the seats are,
Yeah.
and so they had it like all
Oh.
spaced out. Like I was like, how are they even staying open with this amount of people? And it was a weekend day. It was basically
And how
empty
did you know for sure that people wouldn't have bought tickets by the time you got there?
because
Oh,
you
I
could
guess
see
you
how many
checked,
tickets
like,
were
right.
available. Yeah.
Oh, like right when you got there.
I mean, I bought them ahead of time, but you could see. I mean, it was so spread out.
Wait, can you ask me that question really quick? Just ask me. How do you know? Just say, how do you know how many people that got there? Whatever.
How-
Just ask me a question.
How do you know how many people? How will you have known? I what's the question?
How will you
It
have known
doesn't
how many
matter.
people?
Just ask me
wh-
any question.
Why?
This is what you did.
Okay,
One more
hi.
time. Ask me a question. Ask me the question. Ask me a question.
How would you know?
Right. Well, you
Wait,
can check on that.
Is this an impression of Nick?
wait, did I
That's what you
I don't even recall that
wait,
happening.
did I
You
do
did.
that?
I was like, I said, how many people do you know got tickets? And you were like, I-
Almost like you're getting like radioed in. You're like, uh-huh.
It's like
Yeah, well.
CNN
No,
style.
you're
you
like,
know, correspondent.
I.
Hmm.
Anyway,
Right.
on.
Well. So what did you see?
Anyway,
What did you
I went to
actually
see. I went to see Tenet.
All right.
I was a maniac. I went to see Tenet,
Nick, I'm
and
blown away. I can't believe this happened. I
there's
can't believe you
one
did this.
theater in a 150-mile radius that is showing this movie and
Oh, I know.
and movies in general.
I've looked it up.
Tenet.
It's in Napa.
I
to
know.
Napa.
I've been considering.
I would say it felt like a very safe situation, and they were very diligent about like temperature checks, people wearing masks, all that.
Mhm.
They turned people away because they weren't wearing masks. And there was a very like no masker kind of vibe
no.
going on with some confrontations that were like very viral ready, but they didn't
Oh.
happen. They didn't. There's no phones got pulled out, but
So were you like? Did they at least space you guys? I mean, I know it was
Yeah.
maybe empty, but like, just
there were like rows
okay.
between, and then like I don't know, like 7. I mean, at least where we were sitting, we sat in the last row. So if there was any coughage,
Particles. Yeah,
we were the ones doing the coughing.
Right.
We were like the last row, and I don't know.
All right. You know.
Yeah.
I am shocked that you did this, and it does make me feel in a way
Mm.
like maybe
you
I
could
might,
do it?
like maybe I will.
I
Because I
mean,
also am dying to see Tenet, but But what did you? Well, what did you? Without obviously, I don't even want to know too much about it. But what did you think overall about the movie?
I got 2 words for you.
Okay.
Loved it.
Ooh.
Wow. Oh my
Loved
God.
it.
Wow,
Really?
that is a
I
strong
really
word.
loved it.
That's a
Yeah.
strong word.
I really like Christopher Nolan in general.
I've been waiting for just a blockbuster movie that wasn't frickin' boring,
Yeah.
like a Marvel frickin' Avengers movie or Marvel whatever. What is it? What are the movies?
You know,
Avengers.
Avengers. yeah.
Spider-Man,
Like-
Batman,
Spice World?
Begins.
An action movie where you're like, I care about what is happening and I'm trying to understand what I'm seeing, and you're not just like being
They don't have
blasted
those
in the
anymore.
face.
They don't
That's
do
the
that
thing.
anymore.
Oh, but they
They're just,
do.
like, the Matrix to me was like one of the,
The
last
Matrix.
was one of the last good action movies.
Original too, like
The first one.
Yeah.
The first movie. Yeah.
yeah. I like recently rewatched The Matrix.
Matrix.
It still really holds up.
Matrix.
I think Laura just went into The Matrix, but
She's in the Matrix.
Dude, what just happened?
I don't know, dude.
I think I blacked out.
I think you're in the
Um,
Matrix.
Yeah. I'm
So
trying to
anyway, yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. I don't want to cut you off.
No. You go ahead.
No, I recommend it. If you could, I would go like if you're worried, go on a weekday.
Mhm.
You know, if you're worried, I was on a weekend day and it was fine.
You know what? I'm fucking
So,
doing it. And there's
Laura,
another-
Laura's. Go ahead.
Guys, just get a freaking projector and call it a day.
No, but you
Like,
can't watch
make your own movie
Tenet.
theater.
Here's the thing with Tenet specifically, Laura,
Well,
is it's
You
not
can,
available.
like, in a couple months.
Well, hopefully. I mean, that would be nice. But the thing with Tenet is, I mean, I will say, I mean, the movie theater experience is hard to replicate at home, regardless of what kind of nice setup you have. Like, it's probably not going to be as nice as sitting
Perhaps.
in a room with a huge screen. I mean, I miss the movie theater for sure.
I
And-
would have waited until it came out. I would have been fine with that, but I didn't want to wait. You know, I just wanted to see it and
Yeah.
just getting that movie theater experience of like sitting there in a chair for 2.5 hours.
Mhm.
Loved it.
I miss it.
You know,
I will say I
Loved
miss it. Laura, what have you been watching? Are you sponsored by this brand that I shan't name?
No, but they should sponsor me because it's darn good.
You're eating these every which
Oh, I've
way.
had those.
Oh, Taurus?
These
What
are
is
so
that? Iberian ham?
good. Those are like Iberian ham flavored potato chips, right?
Oh,
Jamon.
okay.
Jamon.
How cool would it be if they were ham chips though themselves, like chips made out of Iberian ham?
Yeah,
I mean, I'd eat them.
they smell like balls, kind of.
Oh,
I know.
Well, then I'm ready. Laura, now that your mouth is full of whatever it is, you want to let us know what movies you've been watching?
Dang. Sure. Thanks for asking. To be honest, guys, I haven't really watched a ton of movies lately.
That's fine.
I feel that I've been trying to, watch movies, but there's definitely movies I need to watch on my list of like past movies I just haven't seen. But as far as like stuff that's popping up on the general feed from, Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, etc. I just haven't been seeing a lot of stuff that I really want to see, I mean, it's like nothing's really catching my eye that I haven't already either seen or just don't want to see.
Uh-huh.
So with that said, my short list is I rewatched Parasite the other night with Anton, who had not seen it at all once. And fun, very fun movie. Loved
Great
it.
movie.
It's not without its flaws, but I think it's a really enjoyable movie to watch. And also, well executed, well directed, well acted, and well written. I liked it.
Did you come down any higher or lower than your initial opinion of it, or pretty much just the same experience?
I would say the same, basically, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, I'd say
Right.
I enjoyed it just as much as the first time.
Mhm.
Bill and Ted's Bogus Move. I mean, oops, Bill and Ted's Face the Music or whatever. Watched that, and
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a couple.
We'll talk
weeks,
about
so,
that later. But that was, I guess, like the newest movie I watched.
Yeah.
And okay, so I haven't seen a lot of movies, but I did come across some crazy freaking videos on YouTube the other night that I have
Ooh.
to say you just need to watch this shit because it is intense.
Link me up.
They were basically the two craziest videos that I feel that were crazy videos that I watched that really did give me a visceral reaction were titled "Most Disgusting ASMR Foods Parts 1 and 2." So part 1, and then there's part 2. Amazing. I mean,
Okay,
oh my
yeah.
God, it's just gonna blow your ass mind. Let me tell you right now.
Really?
That shit
My
is
ass
hardcore.
mind, like
I
the
mean,
mind that's in my ass.
It's wherever it may be.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just there. Okay, there's a clip. Nick's playing a clip.
Oh wait,
oh
hold on.
my fucking god.
I gotta get. I gotta get the audio for this.
It's so hardcore. It's just that's just.
Oh.
Oh.
just like-
Wait, that's not
nar,
real,
nar.
is it?
It's
Yes.
real. It's totally real. These are all real. It's very
Yucky.
So how long did you watch this,
Here's
Laura?
the
That's
thing,
the next
guys.
question I have.
Wait, are those
Look at this
cooked?
woman. Yes, I don't even.
Oh,
Oh,
so
I think they're
juicy.
fried. I think they're
So
fried.
juicy.
Oh,
I mean,
it's just so nar. That's what I
If
say.
we didn't know
Here's the
those
thing,
were
wait,
bugs.
Look at this woman's facial expressions. It's like, does she like it or does she not like it?
Obviously not. She seems like she's hating it.
But guys, these are bugs. I mean, we don't have to watch the whole thing.
Oh,
Okay, that's
God.
a famous dish. It's called balut. A lot of
Yeah.
people love it. I will
It's
never.
Filipino,
I
right?
mean,
A
yeah,
Filipino
and,
dish.
like, it is, and I think they eat it in other countries. But like, even someone as adventurous and well-rounded and knowledgeable about food as Anthony Bourdain says, there's nothing about that dish that is redeeming. It pretty much looks, smells, and tastes exactly like what it looks like, which is a
We don't have to watch this
gnarly
right now.
ass freaking like
My god.
fermented fetal thing.
Cuttlefish.
Oh, that's an interesting one there.
Oh, it's like
Oh,
diarrhea.
my fucking
I mean, guys, it's
God.
just nonstop fun. You just have to watch the whole thing. There's all kinds of junk in it. You know what
I'll
I mean?
probably pass
Oh
on
my God.
watching the whole thing, but
No, don't pass. Just oh my God, it's so hardcore. And I think is this part 1 or 2? Oh, this is part 1, right?
This
I
is
don't know,
part 2.
You're the one who watched the whole
Oh yeah,
saga.
part 2. I watched part 2 first, exactly. Anyway,
Dead bees. Okay, sorry.
guys,
I'll turn
this is
this
a
off.
nice preview.
Yeah.
If you want to watch it, I recommend it. It's a lot of fun. I showed it to my brother, and we had a ball just talking about it for like hours afterwards, and just really getting into how, well, to be honest, kind of repulsive it was. But you know what? No offense to those who are into that. You know what I mean? Like these are actual cultural dishes that people do eat. That become accustomed to such a thing, and if you're into it, fuck you. And I respect, and no, seriously, it's to each his own, like an ice cream cone. It's just not for me. It's
Right,
different. It's a different type of thing. And yeah, I guess bugs. The thing about bugs is like I know a lot of people, a lot of restaurants are trying to really like propel this kind of idea of like eating bugs as being a very, new way of cuisine for the future, and that we should really kind of gravitate towards that. But myself, no, I don't think I will ever accept eating bugs as a part of my regular sort of regimen.
What about-
Laura?
It's not
go ahead.
appealing to me.
Oh, sorry, Nick. Go ahead.
But I do consider myself into food. I love food. I love good food, but I mean, and all kinds of food really, but I'm just not into, going that hardcore. Go ahead.
Laura, when I was in Japan last year, I saw this exhibit of genetically modified food, and one of the exhibits was genetically modified cockroaches that were engineered to taste like different things. So one was like caramel popcorn, one was broccoli, something like that. And so it's interesting. I don't know. It's interesting. I don't think I would do it, but who knows
Yeah.
where we'll be in the
Like,
future
it
with
doesn't-
food. Like maybe food sources will be tough in the future.
They
I
might
think
be
they say
tough,
that
but I
cockroaches-
guess
or not
if they're
cockroaches.
not tough, I'm not going to eat it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think
Like,
crickets have a lot of
butter
benefits, do
flavored
they not?
turd is not going to like change the fact that it is poo.
I saw some shit on Shark Tank the other
Yeah.
night. You ever watch the old Shark Tank?
Sure.
Yeah, you know what? We had that on
Senior
the
Stray
TV.
Shark Tank. There was one where they were talking about like crickets essentially, but like in a little snack bar kind of thing. I mean, would you do that? Because it's like the form
No.
of it looks like just a regular old snack bar. You know, you
Why
might
would
never
I
know
do
that.
that when I don't? Why would I do that when I just simply don't want to?
Because they say that it's like a sustainable protein. You know, it's like it's not as terrible for the environment versus like slaughtering cows, for example.
Well, okay. I mean, there's
They
other
say,
options
they
besides
say.
cows too that are like, I mean, that
Well,
could
but
be
chickens and
sustainable.
like a lot of our main protein sources are not great for the environment. But they
True,
say that
true.
something like a
But
cricket is, I guess, for many a multitude of reasons is easier on our environment as a protein source, and is apparently a really
Uh-huh.
good protein source. But it's like
I
we
mean,
would
I
have to get
see
over that as a
but it's
society.
just no. I'm not over it.
I mean, I'm pretty
you
much
know?
with you. I mean,
I'd
I'm
probably
not
just be
trying to.
vegetarian at that point. Yeah, I just don't. I've eaten a cricket before, to be quite frank.
You
And it was
yeah.
nasty.
I'm not gonna do that.
It was not good. There was nothing about it that I liked. It was just so viscerally just not appealing. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
But on the subject of bugs, I actually did make a little video with my brother. A little well, I guess I don't know if we're like moving on to new subjects here, but I did help my brother make a little video about bugs.
Mhm.
And because you know how he has the Poundcast podcast with his friend Doug.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, so they have a pod. My brother Brent has a podcast called the Poundcast, and Doug, his partner, has another podcast called Doug's Bug, or it's like a video series on YouTube called Doug's Bugs, where he just like does these macro lens videos of bugs in his backyard, and they're really interesting. And Brent decided to make a kind of like parody video on Doug's Bugs called Brent's Brugs. And I helped shoot some videos of like some bugs that we found at my mom's house in LA when I was there last week.
Mm.
And they actually came out really cool. I shot this one video of like this crazy looking grasshopper that was just on the window. And the grasshopper was very interesting. The limbs are just so long and graceful. And it's crazy. If you look really closely, the grasshopper's hands, they look like hands, like a human hand almost. They look like they're like this.
Wow.
And they're like going against the wall. And then the grasshopper takes her hand and she goes,
I like how it's her. I like how it's
she
her.
does. She like licks her hand and then I think she
Her
uses
hand.
spit
Yes.
it seems like a woman. It looks like she's using her hand to, walk on the wall, to stick her hand to the wall.
Yeah.
But it's just so interesting. It's really cool. You can see it all in the video. It's called Brent's Brugs. I don't know
And
if
you know
it's
what?
out yet, but we shot another one.
She's a green woman too. She's a green woman.
She does seem like a bit of a green woman, a green sort of princess almost,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's allusions to it in the video, but it's true. Very graceful, very beautiful. What's up with you, Dominic? How have you been?
Oh, I've been good. I mean,
what movies have you watched?
Yeah.
What movies have you watched lately?
well, I mean, I think we all saw this, but and this was actually a long time ago, but I have not mentioned it on this podcast yet. But I did see Swallow, and I really enjoyed it. Speaking of eating,
You told me to watch that too.
yeah. Oh, you didn't watch it? I thought you had watched it.
No,
Did
I
you?
did watch it, but so in
Okay.
other words, you watched it like a while back.
Yeah, I watched it a while back, but you know what? It's worth mentioning because
Trying to act like you just watched it.
No, I'm not. I'm not. Totally.
Oh,
This is a
Okay.
I'm trying to just bring out some movies from the past, whether they be the ancient past or not. But yeah, no, Swallow. What I thought was really great. Definitely had a good time watching it. It was the last movie I saw in theaters too, before the pandemic struck, as you could say. But yeah, I would say I'd recommend that one. I think it's now on Prime, or maybe it's Hulu or something, but you can find it out there in the interweb. I also was watching a couple of Xavier Dolan films. Do either of you know Xavier Dolan?
What is
I do. Wait, what else? What do you do? I know the name for sure. I just.
He did Heartbeats, Mommy, not Mother, not to be mistaken for Mother. What else did he do? Tom at the Farm.
I think I saw. Wait, I think I saw Mommy.
Oh, Tom
Was
at the
it-
Farm I've heard of.
Tom at the Farm is really great. He's a Canadian filmmaker. He's pretty young. But he's made like a lot of. He's made like 6 or 7 films at this point. But I think he's just like 30 or 31 or something.
Wow.
Right.
How's that make you feel?
It makes me feel like, well, I will say that he's actually, I'm pretty sure he is 31 because I have looked into this because I've been like, what the fuck? Like, I wish I could have made 6 or 7 films at this point. But, his parents were rich. He was a bit born into it, you could say. But he does make incredible films. So what can I do but admire his, prolificness? What's the word for that?
His
But,
work.
yeah,
Body of work.
regardless,
His
I've
hot
been
body of work.
Actually, he does have a hot body too. I will say that much. I mean,
Oh boy.
Oh,
if
right.
we're talking-
Xavier Dolan, duh. The hot guy.
he's hot. I mean, what can I say?
Wait. That's how I know him. You were showing me pictures of him going like, look at this hot guy.
I show pictures. That's what I do. That's what I do.
Right.
But I watched.
Oh, yeah.
I watched one of his newest films, which I hadn't seen yet, called The Death and Life of John F. Donovan, and it was a bit of a turd, I have to say. I mean, like it was. I really love his movies, but I feel like this was it just got out of his hands or something. But it had Jon Snow from, I mean, that's not his real name, but the guy in Game of Thrones. What's the guy's name that plays
Harington?
Kit Harington,
Kit
yes.
Harington.
It has him and like Susan Sarandon. It's got a great cast. Natalie Portman's in it.
Wait, what movie?
The Life and Death of John F. Donovan. It's a long title, but it came out last year.
Oh.
So I watched that for the first
that
time.
sounds interesting.
It's not all bad. Like, there's some actually incredible moments in it that I was really into, but man, is it uneven. Like, there is like laughable scenes in it. You're just like,
wait a
oof.
minute. Quick question. Wait,
Yeah.
wasn't Xavier Dolan was also an actor, right? He was in stuff.
Yeah, but he often acts in his own films. He doesn't really act in many other films.
What was the movie that we watched that he was in that I watched then? Was it a movie you recommended to me? I don't know. Sorry, go ahead.
Actually, one of the few films that he didn't direct that he acted in was, oh my god, it had Nicole Kidman. It came out like 2 years ago. It had Lucas Hedges. It was about a young boy who goes to gay conversion therapy camp, kind of deal.
Yes.
I'm
Oh,
forgetting
was
the
that
name.
it?
I'll look it up.
I saw that. I think I saw it.
You did?
Oh, no. Wait, Boy Erased?
Yes, Boy Erased. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, that's not what I was thinking of, but yeah.
Anyways,
totally.
but that was one of the few films that he's acted in that didn't direct it. But I think we should move on.
Okay.
Because we're a little, we're talking.
Can I just make one more little, just quick tidbit on like divergence really quick?
Oh, yeah,
I
go
also
ahead.
did recently rewatched, actually twice pretty recently, but very recently rewatched The Neverending Story, and it's just really good. I really love the movie. I love the feeling that it gives me, and well, the second time I watched it recently, we had to stop the movie because we were getting tired, so we stopped it like during the rock biter scene. And what was cool about it was I was in Joshua Tree with my best friend Jenny. By the way, we both got tested before we met up with each other, so totally legit thing. Anyway, we stayed in Joshua Tree together and we watched that movie, and then we decided to go visit Joshua Tree National Park, and it was so crazy. I mean, it looked just like the rock biter sequence, like landscape kind of in Joshua Tree. So there you have it.
Yeah,
it's a great film.
I actually haven't seen it, but
oh my god,
I feel like that's a bad phrase to say at this.
Do you feel like he would like it if he didn't grow up with it?
No.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. It's weird. It's funny because I showed it to Anton a long time ago when we first started going out, and he did not grow up watching that movie. And I have to admit, showing him the movie, it was a little bit of a bummer because he wasn't that into it, and it made me kind of like see it through his eyes, and I was like, oh, I guess I can see why you wouldn't like it. You know what I mean? Because it does seem like a kid's movie, but then when I rewatched it again later, I was like, wait a minute, no, this movie's really good.
Yeah,
it's like a whole
I
series,
had a
right?
similar. Well, yes, but part one is
those
really,
those
like,
other ones
the only
don't
one
count
worth
really.
watching.
Okay, so just
But,
the first one.
But I felt the same way about Willow, where like
Mm.
I loved Willow as a kid, and then I watched it again around the age of 25, and I was like, oh man, this movie is actually not that good. Watched it again though this year, and it was amazing. I was like, wait a minute, this movie's awesome. Actually, what was I talking about? It's always been good. The music is so good. There's so many great sequences in it, and I mean, like the acting is what it is, but it's fun, and it's just got a great. I just love the like dialogue in it, and it's just so fun. It's fun filled, action packed, full of really awesome, practical effects, and watching. And then Anton rewatched it again too, and he was like, "Oh man, that movie's so good," which made me think he might actually like The Neverending Story now if he watched it again. I wonder.
Yeah, like you've turned him
It
over
is so
time.
good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I think people's perspectives, they just change every couple of years or every 10 years or something. I think, and maybe there's a reason why I'm realizing that these movies are good, as I always knew they were as a kid. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah, I mean,
in the
perspectives
context
change
of
for sure.
All the crap that comes out, all the like, these action adventure, like what you're saying, these action adventure movies that come out that are not very exciting, that you've been looking for something to be excited about. Well, these movies were exciting, you know what I mean? And so by contrast, maybe they just seem like really good. I don't know.
There's definitely more risks at that time than there is now. Nick,
It was
though,
just a different standard.
Yeah.
I'd love to turn it over to you. How's life? How's life been? How's life been for you?
Yeah, life's been okay.
How's this year been for you?
I mean, the the year overall, I was just describing it to somebody. You just feel like you're zooming along on a highway, and then someone just like a big hand just kind of came up and was like, and it's just like kind of holding you up like this, just kind of dangling. But other than that feeling, things have been okay. Of complete limbo.
Right.
I mean, yeah, like doing the live stream show, the Talkies show, which is we got a really good show coming up this Friday. I just want to do a quick plug.
Yeah,
I'll do a plug at the end.
No, do it now. I mean, may as well.
This Friday we've got Jay Shingle, Jay Weingarten, Matt Golden, Kyle Mizzono, and Joe Quaxala. And it's just a crazy good lineup. And
I've seen Jay Shingle before too, and he is definitely something to check out for sure.
He's a wild man.
He's a wild boy.
That wild man. But yeah, things have been kind of interesting. I guess I got an artist in residency for Oregon State University. Kind of just started this week.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm helping out with their robotics program. Helping do some sound design for case studies, basically. So it's basically like trying to determine how should robots sound in different environments, and like what should the protocols be, like trying to set a standard. Yeah.
Right.
So I just did my first robot videos and getting feedback on them, and it's
nice.
It's interesting stuff.
Yeah. Robots, huh?
Yeah, robots. I feel very dumb talking to these people, because it's like, this is their life, and I'm just kind of off on the side, kind of peeking in. But but it's okay. I'm learning a lot, which is fun.
Did I just notice that you are in the Matrix in the background of your? Is that the Matrix? Is that what's going on back there?
Oh yeah, that's me.
Oh, okay.
That's me back there in my computer.
Wow.
You back there in the Matrix.
Hey,
are
computer.
Also in the...
Are you in the Matrix? Yeah, it's in the Matrix.
Can you do something to that other screen behind you too?
What other screen?
It says ording.
Oh, it says recording?
Oh, yeah.
I wish I could do something with that.
Well,
I mean, I could figure something out sometime.
Snap it up. Let's make it snappy. Come on.
Dude, also been playing too much Dead Cells.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been trying to get Brent into it.
You still haven't? The last time I talked to you, you were trying to do that too.
I don't think he's gonna play. But
that is such a bummer. He would love it.
I think he would.
It's
Brent,
a total
if you're
throwback.
watching it, I mean, it's a bunch of things. That's what I like about it, and it's so addicting, and it's bad how addicting it is. But I got 4 boss cells, if you know what that means.
That's actually crazy, Nick. Because since we last talked, just you talking about it kind of made me the itch began for me, and so I also returned to Dead Cells.
Yeah,
and I have only ever gotten one. So when I went back to my game to my file or whatever, my save file. I'd only had one, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna go for the second. Let's just see how crazy this is. And I spent like hours and hours and hours trying to get there and just can't. So to anyone who's not played Dead Cells, it's a very difficult kind of procedurally generating 2D platformer that's just really fun, and the visual style is awesome. It looks kind of like a 16-bit kind of game? I don't really know too much about.
16-bit vibes.
Super Nintendo type of thing?
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
Like hyper Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just the amount of variation in the weapons and everything, like you can approach a situation so many ways, and it really just activates a part of my brain I don't normally use when I play video games, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so fun, and the length of a playthrough from beginning, from beginning to the end to the last level when you beat the last boss is like an hour.
Mm-hmm.
But in that time, you can die at any point and you go back to the beginning.
Oh god, it's like Ninja Gaiden.
Kind of, but you maintain access to certain powers as you play through the game.
What system is it on?
It's on every. It's like on Switch. It's on PS4. It's on
Xbox.
computer.
Why would Brent not want to try it?
I don't know, Brent.
Well, what did he say? What
Brent,
did he
we're
say?
begging you.
He doesn't like kind of
Like throwback
Castlevania, like Metroidvania roguelike games, but there was one game
What?
I think
He
he
likes
Neither
said.
do I.
What are you talking?
Well,
But this
no,
is an
that's a total bold-faced lie.
well,
He loves
well,
Metroid
roguelike,
and Castlevania.
roguelike.
Meaning like it's procedural, like it's
It's
randomly generated.
constantly, yeah, right.
Sorry, I'm cutting you off.
No, yeah. I mean, I think it's because it's a combo of those things. I think he just doesn't. He's not a fan of that
Oh.
necessarily.
But he would be.
I think he would be, and I've described it in a couple emails. I mean, the fact that I have, like, it's not. I'm not in.
Strongly
I've got no
worded
skin in
emails.
the game, really. I got no
Yeah.
skin in the game, but I would be curious to see how he would fare playing it.
You know what? He's on next episde, so I will pitch
Yeah.
it to him as well. Maybe if
Okay.
we come at him from multiple angles,
Well, yeah,
we'll
yeah.
get him to play this game.
Sure.
Laura, what's been going on with you these days?
Oh,
These-
thank you so much
These
for asking.
sad, dark days.
Well, couple things. One is, well, wait, Nick, did you wait, you didn't talk about crypto defy craziness.
No, that's fine. We don't have to
Oh,
talk
you
about
skipped
it.
over that. Okay.
I mean,
well, because you,
I've
when
been talking
I did
too much.
Briefly, no,
No,
I
no.
hear you. I briefly saw that on your, on the thing.
We have
Yeah.
a little secret
We
document.
have a
up here
document.
for
We have a
people who-
document where we talk about what we're going to talk about. And it reminded me about my investment that I recently, my kind of just a little bit of it, not a deep dive. I mean, not a huge deep dive, but I did kind of get into some Tesla stock buying recently. And I also doing the same thing. He
Right.
bought a lot.
Yeah.
Anton bought a lot as well, per my recommendation.
Was
I mean,
this before
it was
the
all
stock
stuff that was
split?
kind of like brought to this. Yes,
Yeah.
like we all bought before the stock split, and like my friend Sarah had bought a decent amount before the stock, not just before the stock split, but like right before it shot way
Before,
up.
yeah,
like it was going on.
They hit
a
1,000
really
or whatever.
amazing like upward upward
Yeah.
progression before it split, and then it split, and then it dropped quite a bit during the weeks between the split and then their battery day announcement. And I don't know, I'm just interested in kind of hearing what other people might have to say, if anybody knows anything about kind of like the Tesla situation right now, or has invested research into that and what they might think. Anybody, do we have listeners, by the way? Probably say hi
Yeah.
to them.
Is anybody watching right now?
Is anybody out there? Hello.
I mean, I don't see any chats on YouTube, but maybe on Twitch.
Nope.
It's okay.
But feel
I'm gonna
free
check
to
Facebook.
Drop a
chime
comment.
in if you're
Drop a
watching.
comment.
Yeah, drop.
There was one.
a bomb.
Okay, we have one comment on Facebook, and it says "gonna start shortly."
Oh, that was from me. Actually, that was from me.
Yeah, I know.
If you might see the name, it's Dominic
Okay, it
McCurry.
says that there's 2 people watching us on Facebook.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh, well, we got at least 5 going on. At least what I'm seeing. But
On
it's 5.
Restream.
Yeah.
You can see it. Laura, did you
Okay.
give up on crypto stuff?
No, I just I have the tiny bit that I bought on Bitcoin, and that was it. But I was
Yeah.
actually looking into buying another cryptocurrency that was like recommended on a live stream that I was watching.
Mhm.
And now I can't remember what the heck it was called, but it's a Chinese. It's basically, wait, what is it? Oh God, I
Not
have
a
to look it up.
cryptocurrency?
Is it Neo?
No, it's definitely a cryptocurrency, but it was like, I think it just became available in the United States to
Mhm.
buy.
Okay.
And it was really hard for me to purchase some because it's really cheap right now.
What?
but
Where
they're-
was the what were you listening to that it came up?
Something that's not necessarily a reliable source. I was actually watching like John Vanderslice's just live stream that he was doing
Okay.
on like on on Instagram, and he was like interviewing this friend of his who I guess she's like a filmmaker, or she
Mhm.
makes a lot of like videos and stuff. And he was asking her like, okay, give us some updates on like the cryptocurrency, different cryptocurrencies to buy right now. And she was like, oh yeah, this one.
Huh.
And I just thought she seemed like sure of what she was saying, so I just wanted to look into it. And
They
I
all do. That's the
thought,
funny part.
"No, maybe I'll buy that." And Darn, I don't even remember what the hell it was called. Wait, something Oh God.
I don't know. I
If
could
it
not
just
possibly.
came out, it
It
just
didn't
came out.
Just came out. I think it just became available in the U.S.
Huh.
to buy.
Weird.
But I mean, I don't know. Whatever. I mean, like we don't have to spend all the time
No.
talking about this.
But if
Just-
you figure it out, let me know.
I will. It was like not Ethereum. No,
Not
I can't
Ethereum.
remember. Okay, no, I don't know.
That's been out
Were you
forever.
about to say buliminium?
Buliminium.
No. I can't.
It's the process where you buy
More installed right
cryptocurrency
now.
and then you
Sorry. Okay.
later you
Wait,
get rid of it.
Ethereum's
Actually.
not.
I mean, Ethereum's been out forever. At
Then
this
it's
point.
not that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll let you know later off
Okay.
the scenes. But what else though I wanted to tell you guys about was I did happen to do something that I am very proud of recently, and that is that I actually, believe it or not, I built my very own entire farmhouse table, dining room farmhouse
Whoa.
table. I built it. I completed it. I did it, and by God, it's pretty freaking amazing.
Show us. Let's.
Yeah.
I want to see it.
Dominic, take her away.
Oh, Nick, take her away. Oh wait. Oh, I see. Oh, am I? Oh, okay.
Yeah, you have
So wait,
to do
here-
it, and then
Actually, no. Here's what we can do.
So I'm gonna do this where the
Here's a-
viewers or Laura can see the capture window.
Okay.
So if she wants to
Okay.
see what you're commenting on,
yeah.
As you can see here, this is a table.
I don't see it.
You
Oh,
will,
'cause it
you
took
will.
20 seconds.
Okay,
It's like
it's kind
a bit
of-
delayed. It's a bit delayed, but you know.
I made that. Keep going.
hold on. Let me. I'll do it so it zooms in a little bit.
Oh, good. Thank you. That's a kind of front face profile. That's a front face view, kind of with the chairs, in a setting type of atmosphere. Now, Dominic, keep going. That
Oh,
was
look at
my
that
first
bread.
dinner at the table. First dinner at the table. Look at that beautiful color of the wood. I love it. Keep going. That's the full table. I mean, it's a kind of, it looks way better in person.
It looks great
But,
here. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
it looks awesome.
beautiful.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Great job.
Yeah, made the whole thing from scratch. Believe it or not. Although
Wow.
I did pre-order the legs online, so I guess I didn't make the legs from scratch.
Where'd you
but
get the wood
I
from?
constructed the whole thing. Home Depot.
Okay.
Yeah, I just figured it out and it worked, and I just couldn't believe it. I made it,
Wow.
and it's way nicer to sit at this table than it was at our old table. It's
Oh,
just
so
a
you're
whole
at
new
the table
world.
now.
I am. I'm sitting at the table right now. Let me see if I can show you guys. There's the table.
Whoa.
No, but it's little here.
Are you thinking of? Oh yeah.
Wait. I don't know if I can show you. Can you see kind of the end of it? Well, anyway, it's dark in here right now, but trust
Right.
me, shit is tits, as they say. I'm very proud, and now I think I'm gonna be able to. I want to make another thing, because the one thing about making cool new pieces of furniture is that it really shines a light on how crappy your other stuff is, and so now I feel that I have to get other stuff or make other stuff. So the next thing I'm looking into making is going to be a secretary desk that will go in the corner near my bookshelf.
Secretary desk. Wait, what is that?
What makes
is that?
it a secretary?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, a secretary desk is just a very specific type of design of a desk where it's like it's like a small writing desk that has a little cover that it has like a little kind of wooden flap that opens up, and then you
Right.
can close it, and so you can kind of like hide everything that's in the desk and just make it look like a nice, clean, well kept sort of.
You have a desk like that, right? But you're just trying to build a new one, correct?
No, I don't have a desk like that. I have a
I thought you
different desk.
do.
That, I had a desk, but it was just a table. It didn't have like the secretary part of it that closes it up. So that's
Could have just sworn.
kind of what I
Could've
want to do. And also, what was I going to say? Well, just some brief things is, I made some Chinese hand pulled noodles recently with steak that were pretty darn good. And I helped my brother write a joke. Well, it was like this joke about chikungunya, and it was kind of funny.
Well, what's the joke? I mean, you must tell.
Well, it's basically just like him talking about like this experience, but as a character, and it kind of just sounds like this, like, so there's an actual disease called chikungunya. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but I was briefed on it when I went on my trip to Bali with Anton, and apparently Brent was briefed on it on his trip to India. and we were just like talking about how that was kind of a funny name for a disease, like chikungunya, and that it would be funny if you actually had it and you had to like call your doctor and perhaps sound something along the lines of this. Oh shit, what's up, doc? I think I got a really bad case of chikungunya. I seem to be growing a beak, and all I can think about are breasts and thighs and even feet. And I don't know. Anyway, you'll see it in context.
What is
that
the context?
I mean,
I
it
don't
is the
know,
context.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. I don't know.
Either you like it or you don't. Whatever. I think it's funny. I don't know. I just think it's really funny that this person is like turning into a chicken.
I mean, it'd make for a good video.
Could be.
Yeah, you could get some like crazy effects, with like a half beak.
Well, Brent definitely figured out a way to fit it into a cohesive statement.
Mhm.
I'm just kind of trying to show you the highlights. And on top of that, yes, I've been listening a lot. I still listen to that podcast, The C Word, which I really enjoy. And one of my favorite episodes was the one where they talk about, it's the new Lena Dunham podcast, where they talk about Mary Shelley and her life story. And
Wait, the writer?
Coincidentally,
No.
Frankenstein?
Okay, yeah. Is it the same person?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein, and it's a very interesting. Her like biography is just really interesting and really rife with just darkness and despair and just so much heartache and tragedy, and very interesting though. And coincidentally, a preview for a new movie, a new period piece drama that has recently become available on Hulu was showing up in my feed, and it was actually, I think it's called Shelley or whatever, or Mary Shelley.
Oh yeah,
or something.
They're listening to you.
With what's her name from Mad Men?
Fanning, Elle
Fanning. Elle Fanning's in it.
Not Dakota.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Not Dakota. No, I mean it has like an all-star cast. I forget who else is in it, but I mean I am gonna watch it. But it's funny because it's all about like how she created Frankenstein, the book, and a lot of the episode of the C Word that they talk about regarding Mary Shelley was kind of, well, they talk about her whole life, and they talk about like the major points in her life, but they also talk about how what the circumstances were for the creation of the story of Frankenstein, which I thought was really interesting, which was that she was at this party one night with like Lord Byron, a famous poet, and other people, including her husband Percy Shelley and her other people, and like it was a dark, stormy night because there was this crazy some kind of crazy natural disaster that was affecting the world at the time. So everybody was kind of like confined to the indoors. And so one night they were indoors and it was raining outside, and Lord Byron suggested as a fun game that they just all come up with a horror story, that they all try to write a scary story, and may the cleverest, most, frightening story win. And so it was all like tongue in cheek, I think, at first. And then she took it really seriously. And that was the beginning of when she wrote Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Whoa.
And it was really interesting.
The origin of Frankenstein.
I just thought it was very interesting. And this movie, I think, really dives into kind of that whole scene. And
wait, you haven't watched the movie yet?
I started watching it last night, and I'm going to finish it probably tonight.
Okay.
Anyway, what's up with you, Dominic? Yeah.
Yes, well, I'm gonna defer my time to some. Okay, look, I'm gonna start what could be perceived as a new segment, or you could just call it movie news, or you could call it, whatever, really. But I made a little list here of what I would describe as a subjective list of films that I would keep my eye on. Sort of like. It's almost like movie news, but it's not quite. You know what I mean? But basically, I have a list of 5 films that are coming out soon, and I feel like let's let people know what they are, and you could mark your calendars or not or whatever. But I've pulled some information here, and then we'll get to the movie review, by the way, which we're actually here mainly to talk about eventually. Yeah. But we will get there probably in like about 5 or 10 minutes. But we're going to talk about Monos. A film that came out last year. We'll get to that in just a second. But Yeah. So first up, I want to give a shout out to a film that's coming out, or that just came out, called Kajillionaire by Miranda July.
Oh,
We were actually potentially going to do this on this episode, but she unfortunately is not releasing the film digitally yet. But Miranda July is an artist that I absolutely love. Her new movie is called Kajillionaire. It's a crime comedy, as far as I understand it. I don't really know too much about it, to be honest. But it's being released by Focus Features. It's in select theaters as of September 25th, so just a couple days ago. And there's no digital release yet, but it will be coming out soon. Another film is there's a new sci-fi horror movie coming out called Possessor by Brandon Cronenberg, which is David Cronenberg's son. And that's going to be released by Neon. Oh, cool. You brought it up. Nice. That's going to be released by Neon on October 9th in theaters, and digital release shortly thereafter, though they haven't really said too much. But it stars Jennifer Jason Leigh. So it's gonna be a good one.
it looks very Cronenberg-y.
Yeah, totally. I mean, keeping it in the family, I presume. Next up, there's a drama coming out called On the Rocks by Sofia Coppola. It's being released by A24 in select theaters October 2nd.
That's exciting. I just rewatched Marie Antoinette, by the way. By her.
Oh, you did?
It's a really fun watch. Yeah. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen that, but I've seen a couple of her other films, and I really like her.
It's just fun. It's a real fun kind of party movie. I enjoy it. It's like a very, like neo sort of punk rock depiction of like Marie Antoinette and Louis XVI, and it's just filled with like fun costumes and fun little like montage sequences and stuff. And it's enjoyable, I think.
Cool.
It's
I haven't
not
seen
really
it.
like a historical. It is a period piece, but it's in a very kind of neo, like, I don't know, way.
Yeah, I mean, she's
like a postmodern sort of semi-postmodern version of it.
Have you seen Lost in Translation?
In terms of, like, the music. Yeah, great movie.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean that.
No,
I feel like
like
that's what
Sofia
she's.
Coppola.
I feel like that's
More
maybe her most well-known film. But I think
Did you
what's
see Virgin
obviously.
Suicides?
Oh yeah, actually, that's another very famous film of hers, and I love that movie.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I
like
love
that
it.
movie too.
But anyways,
the mood that she captured.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, she's great. Anyways, On the Rocks also stars Bill Murray, which is a sort of reunited, in a sort of way, film. I know nothing about it other than that it's releasing October 2nd, and then digital is coming October 23rd on Apple Plus. Okay, anyways, the next one, just two more. There's a drama called Sound of Metal coming out. It's a directorial debut from Darius Marder, and it's being released by Amazon November 20th, and then on Amazon Prime Video on December 4th. So digital release in December.
Whoa.
There we go. It's got Riz Ahmad. He was the star of The Night Of. I know you saw that, Laura. That HBO series.
Yeah, totally.
And he plays a drummer that's losing his hearing, and apparently, his performance in it is really great. And last up is the forever delayed, but perhaps someday coming out, this new James Bond movie called No Time to Die. It's apparently it's still releasing on November 20th by Universal, but it's a bit, I would say, up in the air as to whether that will truly happen or not. But we will see. But I don't know. Do you guys like James Bond, or what's up with that? What's up with that?
The movies are pretty interesting.
Yeah,
I've watched all the newer movies.
Do you mean that the books are more interesting to you?
Oh no. I mean this iteration of Bond has been probably more interesting to me than some of the earlier, like all the earlier movies. But
yeah. I think Daniel Craig is actually really. He's been great, and this will be his last Bond movie as well. So I'm definitely excited for that.
I'm just excited about an actor who can pull those ears off. Who can have ears.
I wish he actually could pull them
or he could pull them off.
Yeah, that would be great.
That'd be great.
What could he do with those ears? Eat them? Snort them? Chop them up?
Yeah.
Serve them?
Turn them into he could sew them onto the back of a rat or whatever. You know about this?
No, what?
Isn't it? Or no, I think they could genetically grow an ear on the back of a rat. I saw something like that.
Oh, that is actually, yeah, I guess that does kind of ring a bell, you could say, in my eardrum.
Or a mouse. I don't know.
Right. It squeaks a bell.
Here we go. Yeah. Human ear on mouse's back is successfully grown by scientists. Sorry, I know this is
No. Let's see
changing.
This. I want to see it.
Wow.
Wait, hold on.
Oh my god.
It's got the cartilage and everything. Now does it? No, can it hear from like what's going? Can it use the ear as like a functioning?
God, it looks like it's under the skin.
Yeah.
It looks like it needs to be released. Like someone needs to remove this ear from this poor rat.
Yeah,
or mouse.
Really gnarly.
That's a gnar little ear situation.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks for bringing that into the.
Yeah. I love to bring gross things
trauma.
into it. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, thanks so much. Thanks for the nightmares later tonight. All right, I think we should get to this movie.
Wait. Oh.
Sorry, go ahead.
Since you were making announcements about releases, can I make an announcement?
Yes,
I
go
forgot
ahead.
To say.
Yeah.
Okay. Also send you a couple of photos to show along with the announcements.
Oh, did you? Okay. All right.
Yeah. For those who are listening, finally, I can announce Laura and Anton has an official song release coming up on October, the first Tuesday of October, which is on October 6th. All right. October 6th, Laura and Anton has a new track recording, and it's called Castles in the Air. I'm pretty darn proud of how this one came out. Dominic, if you want to show them. Oh, okay.
They're seeing it, but it's a bit ahead of what you're seeing.
Oh, I see. There we go. That's it. That's the one. Okay. Probably not aligned. What I'm saying, not aligned with what we're saying. Okay. So that's Laura and Anton track that's coming out. Tune in for that. That's it'll be on Spotify and all major streaming platforms. And on the, I believe, third week of October, we will be releasing a new Foxtails Brigade track, Tuesday, October 20th.
Wow.
And that one is called Slave. And I'm pretty stoked on how that one came out as well. So if you want to hear those, well, just pay attention and follow our feed because we will be making repeated announcements leading up to those releases. But these will be the first of many new releases that we have coming your guys' way. Where our aim is to release one new track a month from both Laura and Anton and Foxtails Brigade. I can't guarantee it's definitely going to happen, but that is our, that's our quota.
I mean, we got a backlog for sure.
So,
Slave, we
have a
recorded
backlog.
nearly 2 years ago at this point.
Well, we recorded a while ago, but it took a long time to finish mixing it and polishing it up, getting all the accoutrement.
No, I'm super excited about that one
in
too.
place.
And we got more
But it's
that we
finally
definitely have recorded from a
there's
while
more
back
that
before
are,
the
basically done
pandemic
now,
hit.
Yeah, we definitely have another track coming out in November, and other stuff too. I mean, just stay tuned. There's more coming. It's happening. It's going to happen.
Hell yeah.
Right on.
So, yeah.
As
All right.
as what's his name?
Let's move on.
What's that guy? Who's the guy that says right on? Right on?
Matthew McConaughey?
That's right, yeah.
McConaughey, circa Dazed and Confused.
That's right. By the way, did you guys ever? I know this is another distraction, but did you guys ever watch True Detective season 1?
Oh yeah.
No.
Oh, really?
I started
What?
to, but I was just.
Oh, it's so
Laura,
good, Laura.
it's so good.
It's
okay,
really
maybe
good.
I need to watch more than one episode.
Oh yeah, you
Oh.
do. Yeah. I mean, it
I
goes
might
by
have
so
watched 2
quick.
episodes.
It's like only 8
Is it
episodes. Then it's
Wait, was
just like a
Rachel
self-contained
McAdams in the
story.
first season?
No,
Second.
don't watch that season.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Season
Why
2
not?
it ain't no good.
It is bad.
It ain't no good.
Okay.
It's a totally separate story though. Like each season is its own self-contained story. So
Right.
you don't have to watch one season before the other.
So
but
True
season
Detective
1 is
1,
great.
you highly recommend?
Yeah,
Knowing
highly
my
recommend.
taste.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
It's really great. I mean, the acting is incredible, and Matthew
Knowing
McConaughey's
my
really good.
taste. My taste.
I feel like I mean anyone's. I feel like
Yeah.
anyone's taste is.
Laura, I'm telling you right now, you watch the whole thing, you're gonna love it.
It
Alright, I'm gonna
actually,
watch
yeah. Now that I'm thinking more about what goes on in the
Now I
later
know.
half of that season, you would
It
like
just
it.
gets that last episode is
The last
crazy.
episode's great. Yeah. All right. Let's talk
Okay.
about this movie that we've all watched. Hold on, just an ever so brief little distraction here as I pull up some information. Okay, so Monos. Oh, are you doing a LaCroix commercial? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt our sponsorship. Monos is written and directed by Alejandro Landis, and he's a Brazilian filmmaker whose debut was the 2007 documentary Coqueleiro. I think that's how you say it. And his second film was the 2011 film Porfirio. This is his third film. His third film, though, is Monos, which we've all watched. It came out in 2019. And it's about a group of child soldiers that are living in a sort of isolated, remote landscape out in the hills. And they're holding a woman hostage while kind of partaking in various games and rituals and all sorts of stuff, you could say. If you haven't seen this film, we're not going to talk any plot details or spoilers until a designated time. So feel free to keep on watching, and then we will make it very clear when we're going to get into spoilers. But yeah, Monos. Oh, I forgot to pull this little image. I'll do that. Monos. Look, I mean, should we start with Nick? Nick, what did you what did
want
you
to start
think?
with me?
I mean, perhaps so. What did you think
So-
of Monos?
I'm the person who was like, we should watch this as the movie that we talk about. I had wanted to see it last year when it was in theaters, and I never got the chance.
Yeah.
And man, this movie. Okay, I think I thought it was it's a great movie.
Mhm.
It's beautifully shot. The acting was like really amazing. The soundtrack was incredible, and apparently, do you know Mikachu?
Mikachu?
The artist?
No.
Anyway, the person who wrote the music is really good artist. But
What do you know? Something else that he's done.
she
Or
she did the soundtrack for Jackie, and
I heard
was-
that was good, but
and Under the Skin. The
oh my fucking god, yes,
Yeah.
I love Under the
Yeah.
Skin soundtrack. That is so funny because well, anyways,
yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, so I don't know. But with all of those things that are positive that I'm saying about it, I also felt like, did I need to see this movie right now? I guess because it's so, I already feel pretty isolated, and the kids in this movie are isolated, and I don't know. I had a lot of mixed feelings about it. Like, I think it was more of just like my personal experience and like watching this movie, and I did like watching it made me do some research after, which was good, and I don't know. I would be curious to hear what you guys think about it.
Interesting. I'm curious about the research that you did, but I assume maybe we'll save that for spoilers, or
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Laura, what did you think of Monos?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was a good movie, and again, well shot, pretty well directed, and well acted, and it's an experience. It obviously called to mind greatly.
Werner Herzog?
Well, wait, was that who directed Lord of the Flies?
No.
Or no?
No.
Okay.
But yeah.
Well, it was a total it clearly was like, drawing from Lord of the Flies. And I actually did watch some interviews with Alejandro Landis before our episode. And, well, it's actually, I think that the origin of like what inspired him to make this movie was really interesting. And that gave me kind of a different, I think, perspective on it. Or, well, not a totally different perspective, but just, I just found it very interesting, the circumstances under which he, was motivated to make the movie, and, is obviously well aware of like the, parallel to Lord of the Flies and
Right.
other movies along the lines of that. But yeah, I mean, no, I thought it was like, it was good.
Yeah.
All right.
What do you think, Dominic?
Well, I thought that it was beautifully shot, and I actually loved the soundtrack. And it's funny that you say that she did Under the Skin too, because I totally got vibes, especially in certain sequences that we'll talk about later.
Mhm.
Reminded me so much of Under the Skin that it's crazy that I mean now it makes a lot more sense as to why it was reminding me of Under the Skin. And Annihilation, actually, both of those movies were coming to mind with certain sequences. Sound wise, like sound design, and also just the actual music that you're hearing. But I gotta say, like, I was finding it hard to care about the characters or the plot, really, because it just felt like I'm fine with like a light on plot movie if I really care about the characters, but I also was having a hard time, I think, just caring about this kind of group of young child soldiers in what I assume is Colombia, just kind of like going about these sort of rituals. Like it at a certain point, it just was like I thought at a couple points in the movie that something was going to happen. Like I felt like I was starting to think as certain plot revelations were coming to light that it was going to start going in this different direction. But then it felt like it was still pretty stuck in this one vibe, like the whole time. And I don't know. I mean, I think I just wanted more. I think I either wanted to love the characters or care more about the plot, and it just wasn't really giving me either of those.
I mean,
I think that the plot was pretty obvious from the beginning. I mean,
yeah.
that was my opinion. It was like, okay, they're clearly gonna like turn against each other and have all out. It's just become its own thing, its own. Oh, sorry. Never mind.
I mean, plot wise, I feel like the plot almost. I mean, it mattered,
but
it's
about the plot.
It's not
Yeah,
about
I don't
the
think
plot.
it's so much about that. I think it's more of just like a
feeling of being there.
It's like a looking at what happens in this situation and kind of just a perspective on what it must be like to be a guerrilla warrior like in Colombia
as a
during the
child.
Civil War. As a child,
I mean, these children are given
civil
guns.
war that's been going on like for so long, and that's why I want to talk more about what the director, his experience like that I think inspired him to make the movie was really interesting.
I think that, I mean, would that be a spoiler? I feel like that's maybe not, and maybe we could talk about that.
I guess it's not a total spoiler. Yeah, I guess it was basically he went to some event where I think he was like going to talk. It was in Colombia, I think. Okay, I could be getting a few of the details wrong, but he was giving some kind of talk about maybe another movie he had made. Or something like he went to some event and it was filled with kids, like young children who were, ages 13 through 15. And he didn't understand why there were so many kids there. And then he asked somebody, why are all these kids there? And they said, oh, these are all ex like guerrilla warriors, basically. Guerrilla soldiers that were fighting for like the left and the right sides, like in the Colombian Civil War, and they're now like trying to reintegrate back into society.
Right.
But these kids were basically like subjected to possibly a lot of the same stuff that was, shown in the movie.
Right.
I'm guessing. And he was just like really motivated and compelled by that and moved by it. And that must have been a trip to be able to see that, to know. I mean, him having been from Colombia, I guess he knows about what it must be like to live in a country that's been, faced with civil war for a very long time. So I don't know. I just thought that was interesting and, whatever. That obviously, guided the movie in a lot of ways. So
he also shot
the
it.
making of the movie sounded really crazy. Like they shot it in a really
like 3 weeks or something.
3 weeks being like in the jungle, where they were living in tents. They could not just like retreat back to their comfortable hotel rooms after they would shoot for, a really long time and in really somewhat dire conditions. I mean, the lead actor in that movie, I mean, I don't think this is a total spoiler, but like there's a scene where he's in a rapid, like he's in the river and the rapid is like really,
I know that looked real.
That
Yeah.
was real. Like he actually got
Yeah.
thrown into a rapid, and like there was a lot of intense, physical demands that were being made on the actors, and including like just the elevation that they were at was really high.
Yeah.
So people were like having seizures and stuff on set.
Because the
So that's
oxygen
kind of
level was so
interesting.
low or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
There-
So
the
it sounds
clouds in
like-
this movie were incredible. I mean, I
Yeah.
loved those shots of those are some of my favorite parts. Actually, were just the shots of nature and specifically, yeah, like they would show. I guess it was fog or something, or
Mhm.
it was just like fog rolling over hills, but then a brief break between that with sky, and then just clouds above it. And there were some really incredible shots that were just that, and I mean, I could just stare at it for as long as they were going to show it because it was pretty incredible. I loved the environments for sure. Like all of the visual elements of it were awesome. But yeah,
there's a scene in the movie that like does a really cool wide overhead shot of the two part of the location, and in right where those two rivers meet, there's a small island like in between the two rivers, right at the peak of the rivers, and that little tiny piece of land is where they were all camped like the entire time.
Yeah.
Apparently it's crazy.
It's
like
so
that's
crazy.
really intense. I mean, there's a lot of I mean, just not to mention like the animals and the bugs and stuff like that. I'm sure must have been a fear factor. At least it would be for me. I mean,
So yeah, on the bugs tip, so there is this isn't really a spoiler, but there's a scene where like the main American that's held captive has all these like mosquitoes flying around her, and she's like really freaking out and puts a bag over her head to like stop.
Mhm.
And I saw an interview with her about the experience. Was she bitten by mosquitoes during this? She said not really, but the director and I think maybe the cinematographer and one of the actors, there's a bug down there that goes underneath the skin,
oh god, bot flies.
lays eggs that hatch worms that come out.
That's just enough
And-
for me to say hell no to doing this.
You're
Like,
off
never
the set.
put
You've
myself-
left.
Just like
I'm out.
imagine that's
I'm
your
out.
scenario, and people like in
F
LA are
that.
just like, oh my god, is this a latte? This isn't a latte.
No, I mean
Well,
definitely the
you
conditions
know,
that it was made result in a
That's
really
just a
unique
hard. That's
looking
just
film.
a hard hell no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, I
that's
would
just
not.
Don't put yourself.
It
It's-
sounds
I
rough.
think those
But-
are called bot flies.
yeah,
I
probably,
think.
yeah.
Or yeah, or maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, that's intense.
And it just
I've seen videos.
it's what reminded me of like a Werner Herzog movie where these movies are like they feel dangerous in a way. I mean, seeing the kids with the guns, it's like I know those guns are fake.
Well, I bet
but
they're real, but just like with fake.
Oh yeah, they're
with, like,
real, but
blanks.
they're
Yeah.
not gonna give them bullets.
Yeah,
But
yeah. But
even though I
still,
knew
mean,
it was fake, it felt like there was this raw energy to it that reminded, or even like I've kind of described it as like Apocalypse Now meets Kids.
Mhm.
Where like kids, you've seen the movie,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that movie also has like kind of that raw, dangerous kind of energy to it, and I don't know. Yeah,
So Lord of
Well,
the
it's
Flies.
just like-
Have you read Lord of the Flies or watched the movie?
I've seen both the
Both.
movies. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
there's two movies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's.
there's two-
Go ahead.
Sorry.
There's
there's
an
two
80s
movies,
movie,
and there's
I
also
saw
a
the
book,
80s.
obviously, that's all based on.
Wait, there's the '80s movie, and then what?
and then the 50s movie or 60s.
Oh,
Mhm.
I think I saw the '80s one, which I loved.
You would like the old one too.
When I was
It's
a
really
kid,
good.
I just thought it was like full of just such hot guys.
Wait, was River
Wait, aren't they,
Phoenix
like-
in that? No.
No,
Are they like
Okay.
12 or something?
I was like 12 too, and I was like, oh my
Alright,
god,
fair-
this is
fair
just
enough,
like a
fair enough.
babe fest. But no, I thought that
well-
movie was really well directed. Like to me, like my initial reaction to this movie was, oh, it's Lord of the Flies, but like with guns and modern times
In
but also
Colombia.
in Colombia, exactly. But
And I think there was
except that in Lord of the Flies, they're Boy Scouts that are left to their own defenses.
Right.
But I think they both sort of, I think, well, I guess we could get into or if we got into spoilers, I would say in my next statement. But
yeah, let's save it for just a moment. But
okay, yeah, I don't know. I thought it
well,
was, it was fun. I mean, not fun, but
Fun.
It's a total blast.
no, I mean
It's worth watching,
It's
is
a
what you're saying.
well-made movie, and it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of those actors, by the way, they were just kids. They were never.
Yeah.
A lot of them had never done a single acting role in their life.
Oh,
You're just getting
yeah.
like real kids, you know.
I like
Which
that style
is-
of hiring
Me too.
actors that are.
And they did such a great job considering.
Well, it
they
just
had no
feels really
experience.
real.
Yeah. Right.
But they're also like playing themselves, so.
But those kids weren't like children
yeah,
soldiers
they're not like
in real
living
life.
they're not like
No.
living in the.
No.
forest
But
and-
some of them were also actors, by the way.
Yes.
Some of them, like
yeah.
the lead.
There's like
kid,
2 of them that were.
The lead kid the lead one who like becomes ultimately becomes a leader. Like he.
The one with the dread, like the braids.
Yeah, the dreads. Yeah, him.
Yeah.
He's a real actor.
Yeah.
Um,
He had a very intense face.
yeah.
He-
Well, it's funny. He looks like people I know in a way. I don't know. It's interesting. He had a certain look that I've seen around. You know.
hmm
Okay, actually, I think we should move to spoilers because
Okay.
we're getting short on time. But so if you haven't seen Monos, the 2019 film, you should stop watching. We're going to start talking about plot details. But if you have seen it, I mean, keep on listening. Or if you don't care, I mean, I guess you can keep on watching. But I would not recommend such a thing. But anyways, with spoilers in mind, I would kick off the conversation with. I feel like there was a pretty direct reference to Lord of the Flies with that pig head. I don't know if you
Oh
guys
yeah,
remember
that was
Yeah,
a full-on
right,
Lord of the
right.
Flies reference.
that. Like I was just
Totally.
like, okay, so this guy at least he knows what's up
Where
here.
he's
Like,
pulling it from.
yeah, because
Well, to me, I was like, that is just a straight like plagiarism.
Well,
That was
it
not
It's
seemed
an
like a
homage.
reference.
It's
Yeah.
an homage.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I would
guess.
see it as.
I can't
I guess it probably
possibly.
was. I mean, because he obviously was like citing Lord of the Flies from the beginning, so sure.
I mean, gotta be.
But I just-
There's no way you put
I
a
guess-
pig head on a stick in a movie about
I don't know.
kids
Okay,
on.
but like to do an homage in such a context, it does feel like plagiaristic because it's all so similar. You know what I mean? Like it would be different if it was in a different context, but then you know what I mean. There were like clear references being made. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I feel like the difference with plagiarism though is that you're doing it to evoke the same feeling. Like basically, it's like a cheat in order
Well,
to
yeah.
evoke the same feeling
That's
that
what it
the
felt like in
other
this
thing
movie.
did. But I
That
feel
is
So-
like
totally-
ahead.
Spoiler wise, the pig head was placed in front of a traitor, right? Who was tied to a tree, right? Is that what it was? It was the kid was like tied to a tree, and there was like a that pig head in
he
front of him.
wasn't. I don't think he was considered a traitor. It was that he like didn't. He let that woman get away or something.
Yeah. Well, okay. I guess. Yeah. I guess
that
so.
wasn't like he was. It was an accident.
Right. That's true. Yeah.
I don't know. It's just
And then-
basically, you know,
And then in Lord of the Flies, Piggy.
yeah, Piggy.
What was I mean? It's been a while since I've seen it, but what was the reason for the pig head in that?
I don't remember, but they were
Okay.
just torturing him because he was fat.
Right. Okay.
right. Well, but also
I
there
just
was
feel
a
like-
pig. There was a pig
There was a
head on
pig
a
head
stick
on
that
a
was
stick.
talking.
Yeah.
In I think in Lord of the Flies it talks like it's like it
Oh.
kind of like represents
Oh,
evil.
it's like
and,
they're
and like the devil.
Yeah.
It's like the
Right.
spirit that has overtaken, you know, one half of the guys that were there.
Or at least someone thinks that it's talking. I don't think it's
Right,
like necessarily confirmed that it
Well,
is.
it's symbolic for sure,
Yeah.
but I think it's also symbolic in this movie. You know, I mean, it to me.
Well, it just
represents
kinda is there and then it's
complete,
not.
like savagery that overcomes, you know, human.
But it's just the
beings.
second that pig went on a stick, I was like, all right.
All right.
I see what's going on here.
What did you think of that tripping scene?
Oh.
The
I kind
Oh,
of
the
like that
shrooms?
was like my favorite part.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
that
know
was
what's
cool.
Interesting about that, I liked how it really like brought out these aspects of really like human beings and especially adolescents at that
Mhm.
age where there's this kind of really like fluid way that emotions can move in and out of different states and like a freeness in that and a real transcendent quality of communication that happens. And even though it wasn't necessarily depicting the visual aspects of mushrooms that accurately, in my opinion, the way that they were kind of able to just stand there and look at each other and start laughing for no reason at something. And even when there was like this impending sense of like almost fear or anxiety that was
Right.
just like at the edge of what they were going through, the main guy, to see him like engaging in eye contact with the other girl that was in the scene, a younger girl,
Yeah.
um and when she starts laughing and he just starts laughing, it's almost like there's this release of power dynamics where they're able to really kind of just be kids, for
Right.
that moment and be free. And I loved to see that expression happening on screen, because I think that is an accurate, depiction kind of what it might be like to be on, mushroom psychedelics. And like that, I don't know, there was something really cool and natural about but it was like an elusive quality too, because one minute they're feeling like this and the next minute it's like everything can change, you know what I mean? And obviously it does change, not necessarily for the better, but it's almost like it makes you wish that the movie could go back to that place where they were able to just be like
Be
children
kids again.
exploring this
Right.
land of wonder.
It was such a
rather
contrast
than
from like what
became
situation that they're in. Yeah.
what was to come. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was a contrast from the situation they were in, and definitely a contrast from what was to come.
Right.
Especially in the main character with the dreads, who was like, in a way, there was this like free spirited element to him in the beginning, or even at least in that scene for that moment.
Mm-hmm.
You see this ability for him to kind of just laugh for no reason. And there was something really pure about that, and undriven and unmotivated by like the ego, and then it just becomes all ego.
Right. He like
So that
wants
was
to be like
interesting.
the alpha, like the leader of
Well,
the group, and
I think it's like this position is imposed upon him, and then
Mhm.
he assumes like the way to engage with that position is to just be a full alpha male, like to
Right.
become that idea that for some reason he latched onto, I guess probably through societal means or whatever, and then just for the worst, like ended up, doing
Right.
what happened or whatever happened. I forgot what he didn't die though, right?
They don't
Or did
say.
he?
I don't remember if he died or not. I don't
Who?
think he.
Right, we
They
just
don't
The
know
guy
show
who took
him.
shrooms?
The guy who became like
There's-
the head of the pack, basically. who
Yeah, the
became,
dreadlock
like-
guy.
Oh no, I don't think he did.
I don't think they
remember
show him
dying.
being killed.
No, it doesn't show what happens to him, right? It
No.
just shows what happens to the one who got away, basically.
Right. Which was
And,
really interesting because it's like
Oh, that was a weird thing too. Was that I think it was supposed to be ambiguous as to like whether they were a they or a boy or a girl.
right. I think it was
Right?
supposed to be him. Well, I think they referred to.
They said he,
They said he, yeah,
but
Oh,
I
they
also
did?
but there
thought
was
that-
definitely like a feminine quality there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was definitely he was played by a female. I know that much.
Is that true?
I think I looked it up, and yeah, it's a girl,
Interesting.
or at least it's a they. And at least
Okay.
they're a they.
Yeah.
But I was wondering if there was like an implication in the movie when that character hooks up with the
Right.
lady, the character
Yep.
lady, if that was supposed to be like her lesbian experience, or like if it was just or I guess it doesn't matter, but I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean, they portrayed it in the movie as. I mean, I took it
Boy-
as
a boy and
male,
girl?
but yeah, but
I don't know.
I was
just
pretty
curious
unclear on that,
about
to be honest, as well.
yeah,
Because
I
I
don't
thought
think-
it was just like I thought it was trying to show like her exploration with her own sexuality and like kind
Right.
of just trying to different people and stuff
Yeah.
and seeing what worked. And then maybe she like developed some weird sense of shame about like having hooked up with a girl or something like that. I wasn't sure. I don't know.
See, I just wanted more development in a lot of different avenues. Like, it felt like there was a lot of really interesting things that were starting in, like,
Yeah.
the first half of this movie that then just kind of never really developed. Like, I was interested in that. I was interested in if they were going to explore, like, the sexuality of these young soldiers. And then I was really interested in the drug aspect. I was like, oh, okay, so is this going to be, like, about them tripping during a really fucked up time? Like, they're also getting attacked, but they're also tripping. Like, I thought that was going to kind of go somewhere. But then it
that
kind
was
of
a
just
bit
became...
confusing. Yeah,
It just kind of was like one scene, and
Right,
then it was
right.
right back to normal. And then when the hostage escaped, they're holding an American hostage for those who haven't seen it. When she escapes, I thought then, okay, so maybe now this is going to become more about her, or maybe where she ends up or something, or maybe she's going to find other people, or there's gonna be like a greater context as to why they took her in the first place, or she's gonna discover something, or I don't know. There's like a lot of things that I was hoping for that it just felt like didn't really get followed up, and it didn't. It kind of like then she just gets caught again, and I was like, God damn it! Like she's just gonna be stuck in a new environment now.
But it was really interesting that because she does escape.
Yeah.
And how they played it is like she's not really a main character, right? She is a character. Like I think we maybe identify with her as like we're American, like we're trying to picture ourselves in the situation that she's in. But like I would say more main character is the other soldier that, escapes. And we're seeing more of that.
Yeah.
And the American we just hear about on the TV. And in fact, it's the first time we really kind of get a sense of any context of what's happening here. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's an interesting point too. I mean, I do think that obviously the kid's at the start of the show here, but she is the one with a different set of circumstances. Whereas all the kids are kind of, they're, I guess, voluntarily or at least by their own
you don't
will.
know. You don't know what their situation is. Yeah, that's never explained. But...
Yeah, we don't really know what's up with them, but they're at least all on kind of like the same page in some sort of way. But she is the captive. She's sort of like the other one that you're kind of curious as to what's going on here. Like, why is she captured? Go ahead.
I think it would have been interesting if, like, she had been played by a person who was in the same age group as the soldiers. You know what I mean? Like, if she had been a kid who was just as susceptible to friendships and, connections to the other kids that were there, or like able to kind of be more exploratory and be more free in terms of like her emotional kind of abilities. Because I think that it really showed the distinction between her as an adult,
right,
and her kind of boundaries as being an adult, and like knowing what she isn't willing and isn't willing to do, and like her sense of danger, versus these kids who are, they're adolescents, they're in high school, and I know that like when I was in high school, my standard for like danger and safety was completely
invincible
from what it is now. Like I felt invincible. I felt like I didn't even think about it as a thing. I just did things that I wanted to do regardless of whether they were safe or not. And when I look back on it now, I'm like, holy shit, that was really dangerous. But these kids seem to have a kind of fearlessness about them. You know what I mean? Even though they're in a pretty precarious situation, right?
Yeah.
I mean, on all levels. But there is something to that does give them a kind of like level of invincibility to a degree, like if they can maintain those relationships or, connections somehow. Obviously, I guess it all kind of goes awry, but I mean, it seemed like the character lady, she was able to use her charms to kind of like make the connections that would at some point help her. You know what I mean? And so if she had been like, if the captive might have been like a savvy, 17 or 16-year-old who was able to connect with these kids on their level, you know what I mean? And be free and be able to kind of be like, sure, let's take some mushrooms right now and party or whatever.
Right. It would have added a whole new dynamic to it.
Yeah. Would that have been different? And would they have like had developed a kinship with her where they didn't want to like do harm to her? You know what I mean? And maybe the captive would have been down to hang out, you know what I mean? Or whatever.
Right.
And maybe there would have been, I mean, who knows? It's just an interesting thing to think about, like that particular dynamic of this older woman being the captive, and that almost in a weird way putting her in a more precarious place because she's not able to make any real connections with these kids.
So where it does end up going, though, what do you think ultimately this movie is saying or is about, or like what's the what is it leaving us with besides just like, or is it just kind of a feeling really? Because to me it was just a vibe for an hour and 40 minutes and then it stopped being that vibe.
I mean,
I think,
go ahead, Laura.
So in unison
all
together.
Right, so if we could both do it with low voices.
I think that last sequence, I mean, the person that we're left with is that last soldier who escapes, right?
Mhm.
And we're basically getting a peek into this world that we only hear about in like Vice, video, news videos, or like
Right.
we hear about. We don't think about like, oh, there's these children with guns that are treated like they're supposed to be adults and are put in these horrible situations, and then we're watching this movie with this American, who's captured, and we feel bad for this for her, but then like, don't we also feel bad for them for being in this situation, even though they're putting her, they're it's all bad,
Yeah.
It's
but
all bad.
it's all bad.
Yeah.
But you know, she escapes, and the whole world, it's basically on the world news. It's like you're hearing it. The American was able to escape, and then you've got this kid in a helicopter at the end, and they're like, "What do we do with this unknown person?"
Mhm.
He's
like,
they're
his
unknown,
fate is completely unknown by the
and
end
it's
of the
like
movie.
the world cares about this American that is this one American that escaped, but who gives a whatever about this soldier, this like child soldier, and
Right.
Okay.
yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, I'm into that. Yeah, that's cool. I actually didn't believe it. I honestly didn't really think about that, but I think that is that's a good point
Good
for
insight.
sure. But yeah, I think ultimately it just was. It still felt like it. I think I wanted. Maybe I'm just wanting something different from what the director is trying to give. Maybe I'm just off base
I
here,
think
but
that it's very similar to Lord of the Flies in the, just the kind of way that it really illustrates the potential for like human beings to, to kind of downward spiral into that like savage sort
Mhm.
of barbaric behavior of dualism. Like, there's it's it basically just shows us the potential that we have as human beings when we're left to our own devices, especially if we're children without guidance,
Right.
without it has to do
Unsupervised.
with like lawlessness, and then what would human beings do under those circumstances, especially if they're just kids who don't know what the rules even really are supposed to be.
mhm.
And they, not only that, but in this particular situation, they're given these weapons, so it's like it inherently, like, it, I think, to me, what this movie shows us is that there's like an inherent and inevitable like point at which there will become these dueling sides, and it's kind of like a battle of good and evil. It's like there's going to be some that are overcome by, well, I think really it's like ego and the desire to want to maintain a sense of power over the others, and then there are those who like either want to just feel like things are peaceful and that we can just get along, and or there's a sense of maybe democracy or something that's more fair, you know what I mean? And those are kind of the two inherent like sides of the coin, you know what I mean? And that they will all, I mean, what I get from this movie and from Lord of the Flies is that those two sides will always be opposing, and unless there's like a higher power that steps in and says this has to stop, this is going to end, then it will inevitably end up in war, you know what I mean, and death. And
So it's like a bigger, it's like a take a bit like on almost like governance, or not governance, but like,
well,
if we're left to our own, if we're all left to our own devices with no structure,
or no
that
one to tell us like what's
right.
no higher like power to tell us what's right and what's wrong, or
But-
that can actually like say you
Yeah.
have to stop this. It's like about lawlessness, you know what I
Lawlessness.
mean?
Mhm.
And when you have no other form of government or power to tell you like that you will be punished for these actions that are going to do harm unto others, then people will do harm unto others. And that is like within the psyche of the human experience. You know what I mean? It's that people have the potential to do great harm to each other. And that's scary. It's a scary thing to think about.
Did you?
And if you look at history, it's like, it's and every point in history has pictures of, has not just pictures, but depictions of this, you know what I
Right.
mean? And experiences that really, play that entire concept out. And it's really It's really interesting and it's very dark, really.
So what's interesting about this situation is I mean, yes, they were unsupervised overall, but they did have like some structure to, and
Like they had directions from
they had
some,
directions, and they
but
were all
then they realized they could get away with murder. Like then the leader realized, wait a minute, this guy doesn't mean shit. Like I could just
Right.
kill him right here
Yeah.
on this boat.
yeah.
And so,
right?
yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that moment where
They really didn't have anybody really super, like they thought that they did. And so
Right.
that was the one thing that was maintaining some sense of order.
right,
But the minute they realized they didn't need that, well, then all hell broke loose, basically.
Right.
It was like everything I just said was what kind of came to
and
surface.
then
which
they
was
really
the-
spiraled at that
exactly.
point.
And
Yeah.
it was the spiral because it was like these kids who realized, like, oh, one kid realizes I could be the leader and I
Right.
could do whatever I want. And the other kids were like, oh, either we have to do what he says or try to run away.
Right.
You know,
I guess
so
I
it's
just
really
want to see like
interesting.
more consequences of that, or more.
Well, we saw some consequences, like the little boy being tied up and having to like fucking face a dead pig's head for days on end and not being given any food and torture.
Yeah.
It's really just
Yeah.
it's like a barbaric situation that ends up happening, to the point where they're also going to like kill and slaughter the boy who eventually, thankfully, gets rescued. But we don't even know if he actually did get rescued.
Yeah, they don't know
And
where he went after that. Yeah.
And the bigger picture is like, well, okay, even though the adults come and save the kids, the adults are also engaged in like a crazy civil war where people are killing each other too. So it's like, who's going to save them? So it's just layers and layers of, the same thing.
Right.
Laura,
Yeah.
hey, did you notice in the scene where he's watching the TV at the end, the soldier that escapes, he goes to the house
Yeah.
with the family and they're watching a whole thing about gummy bears.
Yeah. Right. Uh-huh.
And
I like that
this
part.
yeah, it reminded me of our conversation about the arteries being wrapped around the world.
Oh.
They said that there's enough
Right,
gummy
there's enough
bears
gummy bears to like.
to wrap around the world in a year
I heard that.
4 times.
Right. It reminded me.
There
So-
you go. Maybe
Yeah,
that's
there you
maybe
go.
that's the fact that you heard that you twisted into thinking that. For those who don't know,
No.
Laura made a bold-faced claim that if you took, what was it, the innards. if
Those
took
of you
the-
meaning me, you, and Nick, because we
Yeah.
are the only ones watching.
For those of you who
What I
didn't
can
see
say.
that other episode, yeah, Laura thought that you could stretch the innards of one person across the circumference of the Earth, which
And
is.
hey, guess what? An innard is a lot bigger than a gummy bear.
So there you
Well,
go.
there's a lot more gummy bears, though. Apparently,
That's true. That's true.
Good.
All right. Do we have any closing thoughts? Because we're getting close to that time in which it might be time. Closing thoughts on
not
Monos.
really, other than what?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, just to reiterate, the new Laura and Anton track is coming out October Tuesday.
What about the movie? Closing thoughts on the
closing
movie.
thoughts on the movie. Oh, I thought we were
My
past
closing
that.
thoughts on the movie
I
are
thought we were-
Laura and
I
Anton
thought-
are releasing a new track.
I thought we were.
So, like, if
I
you're
thought
gonna
we were
rate,
past the movie.
you rating this movie or no? Is that a thing you guys do? I forget.
Sure. I mean,
I
I
don't
I
know.
don't like to give like a specific rating other than
Yeah.
not really for me. Well, I didn't love it.
Oh, this movie wasn't really for you. Okay, interesting.
No, not really.
Yeah, he was saying because there was no plot to him.
no,
he
no.
wanted more. He wanted more consequence. He wanted to see more happen.
I wanted either more plot or either more character development. I wanted to care about the look. I'm fine with a light plot. I mean, we just were reviewing I'm Thinking of Ending Things last week, and I feel like that's also pretty light on plot, but it has a ton of character development, at least to me. And this movie, and vice versa, I also, or not vice versa, it's the wrong word, but I also cared about the characters in that movie. In this movie, I wasn't really attached to anyone, the kids or the woman. I kind of cared about them when I saw them on the screen, but then the second they left, it's just like, whatever, you know? Like, it didn't
Wait,
give me a
quick
ton of reason to care.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I was just gonna ask Nick, did you see You Were Never Really Here? I mean, not You Were Never Really Here.
I'm thinking of ending things.
I'm thinking of ending things.
I did see it.
Did you like
I
it?
did have mixed feelings about it, but I liked it a lot more than you did.
Okay.
but not as much as me.
Not as much as to Dominic, but
For the record, I didn't really hate it. I mean, I guess that was a pretty harsh way to put it. I love it.
Yeah,
oh
I
my
loved
god, you didn't love it and you know it.
No, I mean, I just feel bad. Here's the thing. It's good.
You don't have to love every movie, Laura. It's fine.
I don't know.
I will say when I watched it with Dory, and it's like it's so his movies are depressing generally.
It's very morose.
It's very morose, and I think it wasn't a good vibe at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I'm into it, but again,
me too.
If we're bringing it back to this movie, I feel bad that I not that I thought this movie would be like an uplifting, like, hey, let's have a silly kind of show, but I wish I had chosen something a little more something, just something more kind of fun. I think I wished that
What about the Never-Ending Story as one episode? Oh my
I mean,
God,
I'll do that. I haven't watched it in
in
years.
That would get a lot of viewers. I think.
Look, I guess I could watch it. I mean, whatever. No. I mean, don't apologize because I also love very dark, very depressing movies. I was excited to check this out, and there's a lot of elements in here that are my thing. It's just it didn't come together for me in the way that other movies that in like a similar vein, I guess, have come together. So it's not like I'm saying I don't think it's a bad movie. It's just like it had a lot of elements. I was just hoping that the chemistry was going to kind of combine at a certain point. It didn't quite get that spark for me. But
I wish I watched it like in theaters when it came out last year. I was in like a different headspace, I think.
For sure.
But yeah, I think it's a very good movie.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Very good movie.
More? Wait, you want to hear something kind of outrageous?
Lay it on us.
Are they making a sequel to I'm Thinking of Ending Things?
I'm not thinking of Ending Things.
No, things have ended. This movie's over. No, okay. I started watching Monos 3 nights ago.
Here we go.
You fell asleep.
What's the sleep factor for Laura on this movie? We should get a rating system. We should get a rating system that's like we should have. You know how the SF Chronicle, or at least used to have. I don't know if they still do this, but they had like a sleeping man, and then like an awake man, and then a man clapping, and then a man standing up and clapping. That was their rating system.
Yeah.
In the date book, did you guys ever see
No.
that? Okay. Well, anyways, their whole rating system was like the lowest one. Actually, the lowest one was an empty seat because the dude had presumably left the film. But the second lowest was a sleeping person. I feel like we should get that for Laura. We should get did Laura fall asleep in this movie or not? And it sounds
she's
like
fallen asleep in almost every movie that we've seen together.
No, okay. Look, my sleeping habits do not have any reflection on.
It doesn't mean the movie's bad.
Yeah, it doesn't mean the movie's bad. It just
it
sucked.
I was gonna test Laura to see if she actually saw it by going, "Hey, Laura, do you know what this is?"
Yes, I do. No, that was
and you do. I could tell you watched the movie.
No. Let me just finish the darn sentence. So I watched the movie. So I started the movie a few nights ago, and then I did fall asleep. But I resumed watching the movie the second day. But I could have sworn when I fell asleep, that I caught a glimpse of the actor that was in the movie Border, and I was like, "Oh, is that person in it?"
What?
Like the troll kind of guy.
The guy. Who did you think he was in the movie?
I don't know, but I was like, "Oh, I think this movie has that," and that's why Nick wanted to watch it. And then
funny.
And then I rewatched it from the top. I was like, "Oh, they weren't in it."
I mean, I will say.
Anyway.
I will say.
Oh, here we go.
If you watch Monos on Hulu, depending on your what you like to see, Border might be up next.
Holy shit! Look at that.
See that?
Was it?
I do see that.
Oh yeah. Well,
so maybe that's what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a foreign film that's won some awards, probably.
Could be.
I don't know.
Could be. All right.
Anyway.
Let's wrap it up here. That's our opinion on Monos.
Yes, that's our opinion on Monos. I just want to close out by saying once again, the Laura and Anton track will be coming out on Tuesday, October 6th, and the new Foxtails Brigade track is coming out Tuesday, October 20th. It's called Slave. look out for that, and definitely look out for the Laura and Anton track because I'm very excited about it. That track is called
Oh,
Castles in
sorry.
the Air.
Sorry, that was me. Sorry.
No, I was into it.
Yeah, do that. Donate to Nick Stargu on Venmo.
Absolutely.
Stargu
And
on
also,
Venmo to support. I mean, you could Venmo me too, just for fun. At Laura Weinbach, or I have a PayPal.
Nick, what's up with you? What do you want to plug?
gmail.com.
I'm plugging my show Talkies that's happening next Friday on
Chalky.
Zoom. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
this is an old flyer. I'm sorry. I hit the wrong. That was last week.
This is
What
what
about-
you missed. This is what you
what
fucking
about-
missed.
Wow,
No,
I'm
You fucking
forget it.
losers missed
I don't
this
know.
shit. You could have seen it. You could have seen it. But he's got another one coming up real soon here. So
Here we go. Yeah.
just imagine
all these
this, but
people.
with like a whole new lineup.
we're seeing the same thing.
Oh yeah. Why is it? Oh, you know why?
There
That's
you go.
why.
There we go.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Okay. Anyway, it'll be a good show.
Hell yeah! No, I
Check it
love
out.
Talkies. I'm a big fan. Definitely check it out. Get up in there.
Get up in there.
Yeah. Well, look. I mean, I guess if we're all plugging, I think I'm just gonna say one quick little thing here. Is that my short film Cyan got into the Drunken Film Festival Oakland edition. I love this festival. This is one of my favorite festivals, actually, just like lineup wise. They really have a great selection. I'm not just saying that because I'm in it, but I've been to it before, and I really feel like their full selection is always awesome. So even if you've seen Cyan, I would still say check out Drunken Film Festival Oakland. They have a great lineup this year, but Cyan will also be featured in it. It's going to be the whole festival I think runs from October 4th to maybe the 9th or so. But Cyan is screening on the night of the 6th. So, and it's free. It's free to either go in person in Oakland, downtown Oakland, at the parking lot of the Tribune. They're setting up a socially distanced kind of way to view films. And I feel like they're doing a lot of things that should make you feel safe. But of course, if you don't want to do that, it's also being streamed online for free on Twitch. So look up Drunken Film Festival Oakland on Twitch, and you should find it. The stream, I believe, is happening the following night though, and they'll be showing a bunch of films. So you should check that out. If you want.
Dominic, couldn't you show that music video like at the end of your stream?
I totally could. Maybe I'll do that next episode.
Yeah.
We'll
You
figure.
guys
That's
could
a good
switch
idea.
off.
Yeah.
Laura, have a Laura and Anton music video. Have a
For sure.
stuff
Look,
that you do.
You're full of ideas here. I'll pick your brain about how to accomplish such a thing. Nick, it's great having you on. By the way, we haven't really been doing too many of these, but we're starting back up again with these live streaming versions of the show. But we haven't had you on.
It Comes at Night, a great film.
We haven't had you on. We haven't had you on since I think
It's been forever since
January.
the 100th episode,
yeah,
right?
which we filmed that 100th episode back in January. So it's it's nice to have you back on the show.
Give me 12 cc's of PM! Quick, Scheiße!
Always
I
a
don't think
pleasure.
people realize that's my voice.
That's her. That's
Oh yeah.
Laura.
Oh, you think people don't know that?
I don't think they know.
I mean, they're all
I don't think
fans. They should know.
They don't know
It's
because they're not
canon
listening.
at this point.
Yeah.
It's canon.
Start from episode
Yeah.
1. 102 episodes. You're here.
It's not too bad. Can I give a quick plug to
yeah.
something that people shouldn't buy?
Yes.
Plug it.
Don't
Laura, have
get
you tried
these.
this? Pumpkin cheesecake
Oh,
Pepperidge Farm cookies. It
I
tastes-
hate pumpkin shit. It's so
I do
Yeah.
too, typically.
Except for
but
pumpkin
Why
pie.
ruin it with
I was like,
pumpkin
maybe this will
flavor?
be better, and it
There's no
tastes
chance
like
of
you're
it.
eating a candle. So don't
I
do
like a
it.
candle.
You want
Oh
to
yeah,
I've
but do you want to
been-
eat a candle?
you want to eat
Laura?
a candle?
No, but I just made a bunch.
but do you want to
Here's
eat
the
the ones that
segue.
you made?
Do you want to see some other stuff
Show
I made?
show us some candles with on our as we
Okay,
leave this.
showing you. Hold
yeah,
on.
and as
A
you
quick
get
second.
those, I'm gonna say that go ahead and give us a follow on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook. Those are where we go live every 2 weeks, every 2 Sundays at 7 p.m. So again, our next episode is going to be October 11th at 7 p.m. with Brent Weinbach. We're going to be doing the film Bill and Ted Face the Music. So if you haven't seen it, you can check it out on, I believe it's on Amazon Prime Video. probably a couple others as well, but I know that's where I'm going to be watching it. So if you want to watch for our next episode, check it out. Oh, and also I haven't yet posted these. Sorry, hold on.
Wow.
Aren't they pretty? Look at that.
Oh, look at that.
You know what? Those
Actually-
flowers are pressed into the candle, and I pressed those flowers too from my garden. Thank you.
Holy cow.
I also made these ones.
What happens when it burns? So it burns through the flower, I guess.
Laura,
Yeah, it
I still
burns through the
have
flower.
I still have these candles that you gave me ever so long ago. Do you remember these?
Oh,
I
that's
think I
sweet.
have some too, actually.
Look at that. Look at these.
Well, why don't you burn the darn thing?
I've been using
Well,
them as
because it's like-
nunchucks.
Just like, yeah, you
This
kind
is
of go like,
another candle that I made. Isn't
Yeah.
that pretty?
Wow.
Thank you.
Laura, the reason I haven't burned them is because they're so pretty that it's like, if I burn them,
Dominic,
then
just
there goes
burn-
the memento of
Dominic,
what
you know
I
what?
feel like-
Burn one right now on air, on the
I don't
stream.
want them to just
Turn
become
your
junk
lights off.
sitting in people.
No, they're not. Did you see where I just grabbed them from? They're on display on my little.
Oh, okay.
This is my look.
Okay.
You also gave me look. If you look exactly where I'm pointing, you gave me this thing. This is
What
from
is that?
from your trip to Bali, is
Bali?
it not? Yeah.
Oh wait, is it a coffee grinder?
No, it's. I'll just go get it at this point. Hold on.
Just get it.
Just get it, baby.
Oh man, I wonder if the people I give these candles to just
More
think
or
that
less,
I
this is just
throw
this is
these
just
in a
like.
drawer somewhere.
I think
The
you gave
little-
me some for my birthday last
Oh,
year.
that's from
This.
Egypt.
Oh,
Yeah, I
I'm
got
sorry,
that in
Egypt.
for you. Yeah,
Um,
that's a really beautiful.
It contains the
Egyptian.
soul.
Look at
It
that.
has
that.
alabaster, and those are alabaster slats in there. It's really
Um,
cool. You put a candle inside.
Well, there
But
already
I
is
guess
like.
you're not going to do that either, so forget it.
Laura, again, I have these on. Look, this is what I do. This is actually how it's displayed, as sort of this, and then I place it there, and then every time I look over there, I think, Laura, she did this. She got me these two things.
Okay, thank
It's a little
you.
Laura shrine. Jesus, I mean, what more do you want over here? You want me to burn down the Laura shrine?
I want you to put a picture of myself above a sort of, like altar where you burn candles and you say a prayer for me every single night and say, Laura will be a successful artist one day.
Laura, you should make some out of earwax.
No.
There you go. I got plenty
It's
you
a
can
lovely
borrow
thought.
if you ever need it.
You have some you could borrow.
Look, always trying
That
to
I
get rid
could
of this
borrow.
earwax. Any solutions? Anybody chime in here?
I'll tell you this much. I mean, this may be saying too much. One time I went to Costa Rica and I got a really bad ear situation going on. Like
Ooh.
I went swimming and my whole ear just like went deaf.
Yikes.
And I was freaking the F out the whole time. I was like, oh my God, my trip is ruined. I need to get to a doctor. I don't know what I'm going to do. It just hurt too. And it was just like really intense. And I went to a crazy doctor that cost like $50. And it was kind of in a weird situation. But they basically put this pump in my ear and it just pumped it all out. And it was just so much that came out. It was very satisfying. But
Wait,
My
what
dad did
came
that.
out?
that
What
shit
what
was
what,
crazy.
what was it that came out?
It comes at night.
It was oh, it comes at night. No, I thought that's what Dominic was gonna say, and I was just.
It Comes at Night,
No.
a great film.
It is what I said.
No,
Great
it was
film.
basically just a lot of earwax that got somehow like messed up in there when I went swimming, and then it just came out.
So there was also fluid from the water that you swam in.
I don't know if it was that. It was maybe because it was like stuck in there because of the earwax. But they basically just like put this thing in there and it just like pulls it all out. It kind
That
of
must have felt
sucks-
so good.
It felt amazing. It
I
was
want that.
absolutely amazing. I want to.
Could you like hear really good after that too?
I could hear. It was
See, I
such a
want that.
relief because I was
I
like,
want
will
that.
I ever be able to hear again? Will I ever be able to sing again? And I was just
Yeah.
truly devastated for like 5 days. But
I
then it
want
was fine.
that. I want that.
5
same
days is a
tear.
long time to feel like that. Holy cow.
It was a long time to feel like that, and it was like my 25th birthday, and I almost died.
You didn't almost die.
I did. I almost died in the ocean. Well, I felt like I was gonna die. We went on a crazy boat ride. The boat was very rickety. The guy who was driving the boat did not speak a word of English. Everybody was like freaking the hell out because it was nighttime and we were just in this little tiny thing in the middle of the ocean. Waves just freaking crashing on either side. They were like 10-foot looking waves. Just all you could see in front of you on the side was like a wall of water.
Wow.
And nowhere in sight was their land. And we were just like, what the hell is and we were everybody on the boat, there were like 10 people, was just in dead silent fear. And we were all just like shaking. And I was looking at my two friends going, this could be it. This could be who I die with.
Yikes.
And then the guy just wasn't answering any questions. He was just silent, and he looked like he was panicking, the guy driving the boat. And then finally, somehow we got rescued. Like, we had to like pull over to some random island that wasn't that far away, but you like couldn't see it. And then they had to like pick us up in this crazy Jeep. It was all just janky as fuck.
Scary.
But
Wait,
it was
why were
crazy.
you going in this boat into the ocean at night?
Well, it started during the day. It was like a day trip going from like one part of the island to another part. It was like the Caribbean side where it had really warm water, and it was like a day excursion type of thing.
Right.
And then
It
by
sounded
the time you
pleasant
leave-
at first.
Yeah, it was very pleasant at first.
Yeah.
And then by the time you leave, it was just, a hellish experience.
Damn.
I mean, we didn't know we were getting into. It was just like a whole different scene. Like, they don't have permits to drive boats there and things like that. I think they're just kind of winging it, But we survived. But it definitely felt like we might die. And then we got a really good Caribbean dinner.
On that note, I think we gotta wrap it up here. This has been Totally Tell Me. We post new episodes every 2 weeks. Every other Sunday, we're live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, so check us out there. And we'll be back in a couple more weeks with a new episode on October 11th. So, tune in, and thanks again to Nick for being on this episode. And we'll see you again shortly.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.